Hello, everyone. So glad that you're here. Welcome to the Future Inspired by You, a donor impact series brought to you by the Spectrum Health and HDVCH Foundations. I'm Debbie Turner Bell. I'm a member of the HDVCH Foundation Board of Directors, and I'm pleased to introduce our very first series of 2021. And can I get a yay for 2021? Our topic is food as medicine. It's a timely subject that, as we work to make our lives healthier and better, it's something that will be so valuable to us in this new year. This episode will feature Dr. Leanne Mauriello and Dr. Christy Arts from our lifestyle medicine team. They'll tell you about the exciting program supported by the foundation and other grants to improve health and reduce chronic disease in our community. At the end of the program, our speakers will be available to answer questions. So please do remember your questions or make a note of them. Once we've had the presentation, we'll have a time of discussion so that you can ask your questions. At this time, I'm going to hand it over to Doctors Arts and Mauriello, who are broadcasting from their new space in the downtown market. And it looks great. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Debbie. It's great to be here. And I can kick things off. Hi, everyone. I'm Leanne Mauriello, Director of Lifestyle Medicine, and just grateful for the opportunity to be here today to share with you about our culinary medicine program and how your support and the support of Spectrum Health allows us to bring this program to the community.
All right, who wants to go next? Is that you, Dr. Mauriello, or Dr. Arts?
I believe we're going to start with the slides, Leanne.
Yes. I just didn't see them. There we go. All right. Yes. And we can advance to the next one. Okay, wonderful. Great. I think we're ready to fully begin now. So I want to begin by sharing that at Spectrum Health, lifestyle medicine is the framework by which we're adding health to healthcare and really striving to empower individuals in the context where their health behaviors happen, their everyday lives. Our poor health behaviors are our nation's greatest health risk because they are the main contributor to the uncontained rates of chronic disease and healthcare spend. And in that context, our health behaviors become our most important medicine. Things like plant forward nutrition, movement, quality sleep, mindfulness, and connectivity. And so with lifestyle medicine, we're able to empower individuals with evidence-based strategies that really allow for preventing, better managing, and even reversing chronic disease. Go to the next slide, please. So when we look at health behavior risks, nutrition is actually, in fact, the top risk that drives the majority of chronic disease. And so with culinary medicine, we aim to educate about the powerful influence that food has on health and disease. And through hands-on cooking classes, culinary medicine teaches both nutritional knowledge as well as culinary skills so that individuals really develop a comfort and an ease with preparing meals at home that have nutritional health benefits, again, going back towards optimizing health and preventing, managing, and even reversing chronic disease. With culinary medicine, we bring together chefs, physicians, registered dietitian, and health coaches into the kitchen along with individuals. And as you'll learn soon, even now streaming into home kitchens to really empower individuals to improve the health of their diet one step at a time. We make, and through culinary medicine, we make healthy cooking easy, convenient, budget-friendly, and delicious. You can go to the next slide, please. So this graphic we like to show to really showcase again some of those really key components of culinary medicine that really elevates culinary medicine beyond just a cooking class, if you will. And so really with it being contextualized within the health system and the expertise that I mentioned just a moment earlier that we bring into a culinary medicine class, we're able to really focus on nutritional education, why particular foods are really important to health and preventing disease. Again, as I mentioned, those really important comfort skills of just cooking and chopping in your own home kitchen. But importantly, we focus very heavily on whole food ingredients, but also whole food ingredients in a way that is economical and budget friendly. So by focusing on all three of these aspects, it's a really powerful combination that then allows our participants to transfer that knowledge, the skills, and importantly, the recipes and the ingredients into their home kitchen. You can go to the next slide, please. So again, kind of a little bit back to the why of culinary medicine. As I mentioned earlier, chronic disease is skyrocketing in our country. And the burden of chronic disease and healthcare spend really demands that we shift within our healthcare systems to focus more on lifestyle and really bring lifestyle and health behaviors to the forefront. And with culinary medicine, we do just that. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Leanne. I want to talk about diet quality. The quality of our diet is the single greatest predictor of chronic disease. In other words, with each meal, we have an opportunity to increase our chances of staying healthy and preventing diseases like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and certain cancers. Quality calories and nutrient-dense foods are the foundation of a healthy lifestyle. Health markers like lipid levels, blood pressure, inflammation improve even when we don't count calories. Next slide, please. Consider the standard American diet, which is high in processed foods and animal foods, and it's a low quality diet. The standard American diet is one of the primary drivers of most chronic diseases. It provides a framework and a link as to how many of the conditions that you see here are similar on a cellular and vascular level. Underlying mechanisms like chronic inflammation, what we call oxidative stress, and even changes in our gut microbiome are impacted by our diet. Consider that most of the top causes of death are diseases of chronic inflammation, just like you see here. An eating pattern that then emphasizes diet quality works to reverse many of these negative effects. Next slide, please. Lifestyle medicine provides an evidence-based framework to fully integrate holistic and true healthcare into our organization. Centered around the pillars of health, which are featured here, our lifestyle medicine department and practice is focused on bringing health back to healthcare. Culinary medicine is a foundational pillar in our program, and it's provided an opportunity for us to connect with patients and consumers around the value of food as medicine. Next slide, please. Within the lifestyle medicine practice, the treatment framework and approach provides opportunities to inspire and empower individuals to improve their health behaviors. The care team expands to include individuals like chefs and health coaches, in addition to physicians and dietitians. We must connect with patients and consumers frequently in a way that's personalized to them, which is a significant shift from traditional healthcare. We strive to engage individuals in the context of where their health behaviors happen, in their daily lives, in their homes, and places of work. Next slide, please. In fact, a large portion of home, work, and family life oftentimes revolves around the kitchen. This is why our lifestyle medicine practice and culinary medicine program are located in a hands-on teaching kitchen. In this space, we can meet patients where they're at in their level of culinary skill and nutrition knowledge. For example, it's not helpful to receive a recipe calling for butternut squash when you don't know how to cut it, cook with it, or season it. These are some of the ways that we can work with patients in the teaching kitchen. Next slide, please. What makes our program even more unique is that we pursued a virtual approach even before COVID arrived in our community. This put us in a great position to develop and deliver all virtual culinary and lifestyle medicine programs and clinical visits when others were learning to adapt. Our culinary medicine program chef Elizabeth, who you'll meet shortly, is just as comfortable with a group of patients and consumers in the hands-on teaching kitchen as she is connecting with them through a camera and virtual platform while you're in your home kitchen. And we've discovered that patients and consumers love connecting with us from their home kitchen and learning alongside of our team. We've been thrilled with the virtual format, and it's allowed for greater scale and access in our local community and beyond. Next slide, please. Culinary medicine at Spectrum Health began with our own physicians in training in 2017. We've had a steadfast commitment to graduate medical education to ensure that this generation of physicians has an improved and comprehensive skill set to help patients better manage their health behaviors. Prior to implementing culinary and lifestyle medicine education and residency training, most physicians graduated from medical school and residency programs with fewer than 20 hours of dedicated education around nutrition and health behavior. Yet these are the daily habits that predict and drive the epidemic of chronic disease. This academic year, we have 12 culinary medicine classes planned, which have been ongoing despite COVID. The program directors of the residency and fellowship programs in internal medicine, family medicine, pediatrics, and cardiology have placed high value on culinary and lifestyle medicine education. Next slide, please. In addition to our residents and fellows, we've focused our effort on our own Spectrum Health team members. With over 30,000 team members, there's a significant burden of chronic disease that impacts our own team members' ability to care for our community. When our own team members are not healthy and at their best, how could they possibly focus all their time, energy, and attention to caring for others? We're proud to report that in collaboration with our HR benefits team, we've launched an intensive lifestyle change program called the Complete Health Improvement Program, or CHIP. It's a research-tested and proven program that delivers impactful results. We've implemented this program, but also innovated and enhanced it along the way. For example, as you see here in this photo, participants in the program have been invited to work with our culinary medicine chef and dietitian in the teaching kitchen in a way that is safe and socially distanced. It offers group support from other team members who are on a similar health journey. Biometric improvements in our own team members in the CHIP program have been phenomenal, with an on average weight loss of 10 pounds, reduction in total cholesterol by 30 to 60 points, and de-escalation of therapy, including several patients who are able to completely stop their blood pressure medication. In addition to programs like CHIP, we support other team member wellness initiatives, such as working closely with the leads of our provider fulfillment department to ensure that our clinicians receive the support and opportunity to connect to improve and mitigate symptoms of burnout. We've hosted several virtual culinary medicine classes with a focus on team bonding. We hope to continue this work as we continue to grow culinary medicine in the future. Next slide, please.
Great. I'm excited to share with everyone that as we've grown this program of culinary medicine over the last 3 years, really from a concept to serving as a national model across the country, that a big part of that work has been bringing culinary medicine to our community. All the aspects of culinary medicine get us really excited, but there's a certain level of energy when we have community members in our teaching kitchen or now streaming live from their home kitchen, and just really love the impact that we're able to have with culinary medicine and bringing it to our community. So the most recent way that we are bringing culinary medicine to our community is this month, our Plant Powered Challenge, that we are blown away and just so excited about the reception with nearly 3,000 participants registered and taking on the challenge for 30 days to add more plants, whole foods, whole grains to their diet. Again, we meet people where they're at whatever step in the journey that is, and the engagement, not just only of folks registering, but the engagement in the free webinars and Q&As and some of the classes that we're offering this month are phenomenal. We've gone from a typical Lunch and Learn group size of maybe around 30 individuals to 1,800 and up to 700 participants joining live when we did our kickoff session just a couple weeks ago. So in addition, we have recently formed a Spectrum Health Lifestyle Medicine Facebook group, and last night reached over 2,000 members just in the last month that group was formed. So we have really robust ways that we are able now to share learnings, share expertise from, again, chefs, dietitians, physicians, both through live sessions, on-demand sessions, and even through informal commentary on our Lifestyle Medicine private Facebook group. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we were able pretty early in our journey through support of our community and Spectrum Health, our organization, to bring culinary medicine to our community. And I'll highlight a few of the ways that we've been able to do that. Going into 2020, we had already conducted across the last couple of years about 140 community and other culinary medicine classes. And so as COVID hit in 2020, we moved quickly to reimagine what culinary medicine looked like in a context where we weren't able to be out and about and inviting folks into our teaching kitchen. So we quickly pivoted and since March have held over 40 culinary medicine classes that have been virtual. So streaming live into the home kitchens, as Christy mentioned, of our residents, of our own team members, but importantly of our community members as well. In fact, last night we had over 70 community members join virtually our Plant-Based in a Hurry class from their home kitchens. Next slide, please. Another way that we invite the community into the live or now virtual teaching kitchen are through team building classes. So a lot of our classes tend to be sponsored by employers, both Spectrum Health or other employers. And what we're finding is that really the value that these classes bring to employers is certainly a lifestyle intervention, relaying important nutrition information, again, that skill building, really empowering employees to enhance the power of their diet and you know, the amount of whole grains and plants that they're including in their diet, and even just making some of those small shifts to increase the health of their recipes in their home kitchen. But what we found and hear all the time from employers that a nice side effect of these classes is the team building opportunity. And you might think, well, geez, now your classes are virtual. How does that allow for team building? And just like in every other way that Microsoft Teams and Zoom has become part of our life, it's part of how we deliver culinary medicine, and it still has a really powerful team building impact. In fact, now that employees join from their home kitchen, a lot of times employers invite them to include their family members. So their spouse or their children are able to join where that probably would not have been the case if they were coming into the teaching kitchen. So we certainly look forward to the day that we can have folks back in the teaching kitchen, but are finding really vibrant ways to connect with the community in lots of different ways in a virtual scenario. Next slide, please. So probably the community program that we are most proud and grateful for is our Family Kitchen RX program. This program was funded through philanthropy through the Michigan Health Endowment Fund a couple of years ago. And we've had the opportunity to graduate 117 youth who are at risk for obesity and chronic disease and their families through this program. So let me just share briefly what we accomplished during the first couple years of the program and then give you a preview of what's coming next. In Family Kitchen RX, over the last couple of years, pediatricians from Spectrum Health and from community practices have referred their patients, their pediatric patients, as I mentioned, that have a particular need for, let's say, culinary medicine classes. And we've invited them and their families to participate in a 12-week program in which the families come into the teaching kitchen and cook alongside our team and, prior to COVID, a very large volunteer base as well. And they spend those 4 different times across 12 weeks in the teaching kitchen, learning in a really hands-on way. Again, that combination of nutritional education and culinary skill building with budget-friendly and family-friendly recipes at the heart of the curriculum. In addition, they have the opportunity and actually expectation that they will be connecting digitally with a registered dietitian health coach on our team. So we really then combine the powerful influence of education, skill building, and health coaching along with the peer support, because they're going through this program in a cohort with other families that are like them. We're really proud to say that as we completed the first round of this program, we were able to show an impact on things like improvement of diet quality and diet habits, an improvement in dietary attitudes and culinary comfort, not only with the families, but also with the medical residents. And ARMA Family Kitchen supported us inviting our pediatric and family medicine residents into the teaching kitchen because those were some of the pediatricians that were referring their patients to this program. So the pediatrician and family medicine residents were invited into the culinary medicine kitchen to, again, learn about these important concepts, not only for their own health benefit, but certainly that's a part of it, but also on how they can increase their comfort and really transform their practice so that diet and culinary medicine becomes a part of how they take care of patients. Next slide, please. We are beyond grateful that we have received another round of funding for this program and that we begin the fun challenging but mostly fun work this month, actually, of beginning to reimagine Family Kitchen in a new and enhanced way. And some of the highlights that this new round of funding will provide is for us to be able to adapt the program for Spanish-speaking families and also adapt the program for an exclusively digital and virtual way to deliver the program. Certainly, that's relevant more than ever given COVID, but we see in a really important element to an exclusively digital and virtual version of Family Kitchen beyond COVID. It is a way that we will be able to deliver and scale this program into regional areas, regional communities that may not have the resources to either come to Grand Rapids to our teaching kitchen or may not have the resources or it be efficient for us to have team members deployed all across our spread of Spectrum Health. So a digital virtual component and access point will really allow us to scale this program in a really meaningful way. Next slide, please. So before turning it over to our culinary medicine program manager, Chef Elizabeth Suvedi, who's in our teaching kitchen today, I just wanted to highlight again how grateful we are for the sponsorship and support we've had to date. And certainly our continued need in some of these key pillars here on this slide that represent really that the power of philanthropy that enables these various pillars to happen. So some of our highlights and I guess wish list as we continue this work in 2021 and beyond is now that the first round of Family Kitchen RX wrapped up, we're really looking for a way to be able to sustain booster classes. So that families can come, virtually or someday in person back into the teaching kitchen and really keep their skills and their education sharp so that they sustain those really important changes that they make during the key 12-week component of the program. We're always looking for additional ways to help us support our residency education. In fact, the first years of our residency education was supported by a grant of our really close partner, our Grand Rapids Community College. So we are looking for continued sources of support to continue and expand. Really, that residency education piece is the way that we are educating and transforming the practice of the next generation of physicians. I mean, the power of that is just really indescribable of what kind of effect that can have on, the patients that they will care for over the next several decades. As mentioned, our provider and team member wellness classes for our own organization and others is a really powerful way and much more demand for those than we have the support to provide. All employers don't have the resources to bring that type of programming to their employees or at a scale that they know it could benefit. And then finally, our continued access for our community members to come into our programs and classes. Support from the Michigan Health Endowment Fund allows us to have really specific programming like Family Kitchen RX for very particular segments of our population. Out of simple demand, we have opened up community access at a nominal cost so that we can have more and more access points for community members to come into our teaching kitchen, again, in person or virtually. But not everyone can afford even that nominal cost point. That is really critical for us to be able to sustain the program. So we're always looking for new partners and ways that we can really innovate and reach at-risk, underserved populations in our community and ensure that community culinary medicine is reaching the most important populations, the populations that need this education and the skill building most. So at that, I'm going to turn it over to Chef Elizabeth Suvedi, our culinary medicine program manager, who's joining us today from our teaching kitchen. See if we can get Chef Elizabeth on.
All right. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Hopefully. Welcome to the Downtown Market Teaching Kitchen. As Dr. Mauriello mentioned, this is the home base for lifestyle medicine with Spectrum Health, and we're so excited to bring you all virtually into the kitchen today. And really, to live and breathe culinary medicine, we've got to be cooking. So what I want to do with all of you today is just demonstrate one of our favorite recipes. It is a lemon dill lentil soup. A lot of people have never cooked with lentils before, and so we'll talk about that, and then just show you all the great ingredients that go into this. And this is just one example of the many recipes. We have hundreds of recipes we use when we're teaching our virtual classes that we pull from, whether we're focused on heart health, maybe it's brain health, maybe it's just general knowledge around getting more of those whole foods into people's diets and how to do that in a way that tastes great. So I do oversee the program for culinary medicine at Spectrum Health, but I'm also a chef by background, and it's been my hobby for a lifetime. So when I eat, I want it to taste great. It's got to be delicious. I want it to be filling, but also we know we need to have that health aspect to it. And so that's really bringing all of those aspects together as a group. So when we create our recipes, we're working hand in hand with our dietitian to make sure that they're culinary medicine approved. We're working with our chefs to make sure that from a taste perspective, they taste great. And so we then bring all those recipes into the community through the various types of programming that Dr. Mauriello mentioned. So with that, I think we should start cooking. So with this lentil soup, I'm gonna change my camera angle just so all of you can easily, hopefully, see what we're doing here in the kitchen. So we've got all the ingredients nicely prepped, but you'll see one thing you'll notice is color, right? So you get all those great phytonutrients when you're having a wide variety of color. We've got some orange, we've got some green going on. Not to mention when people eat, they eat with their eyes, and so they're drawn into those various ingredients. So what I have here, this is an example of a water saute. What the heck is water saute? So as you start to transition to more of an optimal health, changing some of the things in your diet, one thing we encourage people to do is to start to use less added oils. And so in this case, I've added a little bit of vegetable stock into the skillet. I've got it warming up here into the saucepan. And I have some chopped up onions here that I'm going to put those in. It's about 3 cups of onions. And we will be sharing this recipe. So I believe we'll post this in our Lifestyle Medicine Facebook group. So make sure you join that and engage with us if you've not done so already. It's been already neat to see in the last month how much engagement and sharing people have done with their food photos of things that they're preparing and making. We continue to share a lot of content through that over the course of this plant-powered challenge, which it's not too late to sign up. So if you haven't signed up yet, please do so. We'll be coming out next week with week 3 with all new things to focus and challenge on. And we always include links from the previous webinars. So you can always go back and watch those if you've missed those. All right, I just added some chopped potato. This will kind of thicken up as it cooks. The lentils will also help thicken it. So when you think about cooking and having maybe more like a stew, a soup, it's a natural way to thicken it rather than using like a white flour and an oil to thicken it. I've got some carrots here that we've chopped up, so we'll put in those carrots as well. It gives a little nice crunch to it, as well as that pop of color as we talked about. And then lentils. So these are dried red lentils, and lentils are a great source of protein. Oftentimes people think about, well, if they transition to eating, more whole foods in their diet, how do they get their protein? This is a great example. Canned beans are a great example. Tofu is another great example. And so today, with this recipe, we're going to put these dried lentils in. If you're going to the store and you're wondering, well, where the heck do I get those lentils at? They're typically found like in an international aisle of most grocery stores. So if you go there, usually the red lentils are pretty common, so you'll find them in most grocery stores. We're also going to add, from a flavor perspective, we're going to add some fresh garlic. Fresh garlic is used often in a lot of different savory dishes to add some flavor. So we'll go ahead and put that garlic in there. And then I'm going to place a bay leaf in. This will add some seasoning. That's just a dried basil leaf. When the stew is done, you don't want to eat that bay leaf. That's just in there for a flavoring, so you would take that out before you actually eat it. And spices. Spices are a great way to add some flavor to a dish. And this doesn't mean you have to make it hot and spicy. It could just be that it adds that flavor. So in this case, I'm going to put some cumin powder in. This is dried. This is a cumin seed that's been ground, and you can buy this at the grocery store. You can also toast cumin seeds if you'd like and put them in your coffee grinder and grind them up if you want that kind of extra little bit of flavor, but not required. And then I'm going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper as well. If you do like things with a little more peppery taste, you could double that amount of black pepper. The thing I really caution people when you're cooking is you want to make sure you are measuring things. So, when it comes to like vegetables, by all means, you can put lots of vegetables in and fruit in and things like that and spices, but it's the salt, the oil, those are the things you really want to measure and start to reduce over time with your diet. And you'll start to get used to cooking that way. All right, so what we're going to do is, for the sake of just showing everyone how this comes together, is I would normally cover this up and let this cook for about 20 minutes. And then what will happen is those lentils will become nice and soft. That potato that's in there will become nice and soft. And then it's just gonna, all those flavors and the spices will just come together really nicely. And then once it's done, I'm gonna stir in some baby spinach here that I've chopped up. So greens were one of our challenges from last week with our Plant Power Challenge. And it's really getting more of these, I like to call them superfoods. Oftentimes I find when I'm cooking and teaching kids, when you can make things sound fun, they're more apt to like try them and eat them. But Popeye was right. Eating that spinach really is good for you. Maybe not eating it right out of the can might not be your preferred method, but throwing some fresh spinach into something like this will really add some great flavor. It also adds some great color, and you're getting that nutrition that comes with that spinach. Dr. Arts is always encouraging us to put those greens in any dish you can. So ask yourself, like, can I throw a little spinach into this? Can I throw a little kale? And if you're doing a recipe you normally cook, chances are it's really not going to change the flavors that much. When it's all said and done, then we're going to throw in some fresh dill. Fresh herbs are a great thing to cook with. They just pack a nice extra little flavor. They're also just packed with all kinds of nutrients as well. And so when it's all said and done, this is the fun thing about doing these demos and videos, is this is our finished dish here. So you can see this is the lemon dill lentil soup. You've got those potatoes there, all that great pop of color. So really, this is lunch today. And what we're really trying to show everybody is this is an example of bringing culinary medicine into the kitchen. Oftentimes we have classes where people have never cooked with lentils. They have no idea how to cook with them. And so by coming to the kitchen, we talk about the why. So from a nutritional perspective, why would I even eat that? I didn't know it had protein in it. So they start to learn those things. They also learn that they can get protein from other sources other than just animal products. We answer a lot of those frequently asked questions around, will I get enough calcium? Yes, you absolutely will. Will I get enough protein? Is this good for me? Maybe you have a family. Is this good for my family? And so we really help people answer those questions, but then we want to make sure they know how to do it. So it's one thing to watch somebody cook, but it's really getting someone in the kitchen, whether it's in their own home kitchen, and guiding them through. So for example, last night we were doing a class around plant-based cooking in a hurry, and Leanne mentioned we had 70 people in their home kitchens cooking along with us. And one of the nice pieces of feedback we hear is people want to cook in their own kitchens. They want to use their own equipment. They just don't always know how to do that. And so with these classes, that allows for that. If you are interested in trying out one of our consumer classes, we do have a series that we're teaching this year. It's new. It's called World of Flavors. We have connected with local chefs, and they will be helping to teach those classes here from our virtual kitchen. The first one is on February 23rd, and I'm super excited for it. It's a Caribbean-themed class. There is a chef that owns a restaurant, Irie Kitchen in town, and then another well-known food blogger. They are coming together to teach us some really nice whole plant food recipes that have that Caribbean flair. So we do hope you join us for that. And if not, through connecting with us through the Lifestyle Medicine Facebook page as well and the Plant Power Challenge. So with that, I know there may be some questions in the chat, so I'm going to turn it over to the team so we can address some of your questions today.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you so much. And thanks, of course, to Leanne and Christy. So we do want to get to some questions. So be sure to put your questions in the chat or the comment section, and they will make their way to me, and I'll be able to ask the ladies. So let's start with this one. How does lifestyle medicine work with other types of medical care for people?
Great question. Christy, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, happy to take that one. Lifestyle medicine really is the foundation of healthcare, if you will. So when we think about things, for example, heart disease, oftentimes one of the main ways in which we would begin to counsel or treat a patient around cardiovascular disease would be to improve lifestyle behaviors. So things like what you eat and how you move and how you manage stress. So this works in collaboration with our specialists, also with our primary care doctors. It doesn't replace any of those things, but rather enhances the care and empowers patients to really make those changes at home to improve their health overall.
All right, wonderful. Another question to ask is, what's the approach for patients that are on a limited food budget? Bless their hearts.
I can take that question. Certainly, as I mentioned as we were going through, we are very cost conscious and budget conscious as we develop recipes for culinary medicine. And on our website on spectrumhealth.org, /culinary medicine, we have a category of recipes, in fact, for budget-friendly and family-friendly recipes. So we really aim for all of our recipes to be as low cost as possible, even $1.50 or less per serving. And I think a lot of times there's some myths around that too. And as Chef Elizabeth was alluding to, we really try to teach people how to work with some, foods they may not be accustomed to, like dry beans or lentils, but are really economical. And with the tricks that Chef Elizabeth and team shares with patients, they can see that it's really not that difficult either.
That sounds really good, and it's so important. Okay, next question is, what's one helpful lifestyle tip that everybody can benefit from? Who wants to take that?
Well, I'll share a tip. I think it's just, giving yourself grace to learn a new skill, especially in the new year. We all struggle. We all have our challenges every day. And I think finding a way to begin, just making a start at some place. It may be through a simple change in your diet, like adding more green leafy vegetables. It may be getting outside for a 5 or 10-minute walk. It's just really a matter of beginning somewhere. What we'll often see as patients gain more confidence in making those changes, they can begin to make other changes. And when you look 6, 9, 12 months down the road, that can dramatically improve your overall health.
Great tip. Great tip. Anything else, Dr. Mauriello, that you wanted to add? Or can we
No, that
move on?
was perfect. Nothing to add. It's exactly what I would have said.
Very good. Very good. Coming to what's happening around us right now, and you all have alluded to it just a little bit in your presentations, but talk to us a little bit more about how COVID-19 is affecting your programming.
Sure. Well, I can maybe take that first and then maybe pass it to you, Christy, around it being, lifestyle medicine being more important than ever right now. But really, we are so pleased that we've been able to not only continue, but dramatically grow our programming throughout the last 12 months, despite COVID. And as Dr. Arts mentioned, we were thinking digital and virtual and doing a lot of work digitally and virtually to begin with. But so we were well prepared when COVID hit to really pivot and hit the ground running. And, our culinary medicine virtual classes streaming live into home kitchens has so many benefits. People are actually doing it then in their home kitchen. So it's literally, they're doing it in their kitchen. They don't even need to come out of the teaching kitchen and transfer it to their home kitchen. They are doing it with the support of our team and the support of others in a virtual way. So as far as our programming, we're really grateful and excited to share that it is stronger than ever. But I'll let Dr. Arts address some too around the COVID pandemic and the importance of lifestyle medicine.
Yeah, thanks, Leanne. And Debbie, my original career in medicine is as an emergency medicine physician, and I still practice in our emergency department. So I'm very familiar with the impact that COVID has had not only on individual patients, but certainly at the level of our community, nationwide, worldwide, truly. And what we're also seeing is that the same lifestyle behaviors that put us at risk for chronic disease also put us at greater risk for serious illness due to COVID-19. So there is a direct link between, again, how we move our bodies, how we eat, what types of foods we eat to nourish ourselves, how we manage our stress. When we develop chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease, and then, unfortunately, if we, get exposed to COVID-19, there's a greater risk for serious illness. But there's also hope there, too, because there's so much that we can do in our own homes. And the fact that we can now reach patients, we can continue to reach patients either in group settings, we can continue to educate our own residents, we can even support the health of our own team members despite the ongoing pandemic. We're just so thrilled to be able to plug in and support our community and patients in that way.
That sounds wonderful. Elizabeth, if I can come to you and ask just a very practical question, maybe some of our viewers here fall into this category. What are some tips or encouragement that you have for people who are either intimidated by the kitchen or don't particularly like being in the kitchen? They don't like to cook. How would you encourage them to embrace that as a part of a healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what Dr. Arts was saying around like start small. So oftentimes we don't want people to feel like they have to change everything about their lifestyle, everything about the way that they're eating, but start with something. So that might be if you have maybe a time during the day or during the week that you have a little bit more time. Maybe that's a Sunday. Maybe you're going to pick a recipe that kind of already falls within flavors that interest you. So maybe if you like chili, maybe you're going to try a veggie bean type chili rather than having one that has meat in it. Or take a recipe you already make. Maybe it's spaghetti, and maybe you're going to add some vegetables to that. So in one of our introduction classes, that's what we do. We make spaghetti, but rather than using the white pasta, we're putting in like a whole wheat pasta. We take, you've got your tomato sauces and you've got some herbs, but then we're also going to show them, let's put some mushrooms in that. Let's put some bell peppers in that. And so just really starting small. Maybe it's going to the grocery store and you're going to buy a few vegetables, more than you normally would buy. And oftentimes it doesn't have to be complicated. So if you don't have a lot of time, buying frozen vegetables is perfectly fine. Oftentimes those are already chopped up. They're ready to go. They're usually frozen kind of at peak ripeness of when they're harvested. And so that's another great way to kind of speed things up. It doesn't have to always be starting from scratch, but really just doing some of those basic things. Maybe it's using canned beans, having those in your home, and really making sure that your kitchen is well set up. So that might be like having a bowl of fruit out on the counter. And that way, when you're hungry, rather than going to the pantry for something, you're gonna just grab maybe an apple or a banana or an orange and snack on that. So just some of those little things to get started, and not feeling like you have to conquer everything all in 1 week or anything like that.
Sure. Well, I'm talking to you, Elizabeth. I understand in the forecast, a polar vortex might be coming, so it's going to be cold. We're going to all be inside huddled. Do you have a favorite winter recipe?
Well, I believe if we didn't share it yet, I think we're planning on it in this next messaging that goes out next week. We have a winter kale salad. So we're talking about greens and how to get those in your diet. We're using some kale. We're going to put some sweet potatoes in that. You roast fennel. A lot of people have never used fennel, so we're going to show you that you can put that in a salad. It tastes great. And then with that recipe, we make a homemade cashew cream sauce. And oftentimes people didn't even know you could use cashews to make like a thicker type dressing. When you think about like a Caesar salad dressing, this is a way to kind of thicken it in a way we're using those whole plant foods we want people to be using. So that one I know for sure we're going to be sharing on our Lifestyle Medicine Facebook group. And then we continue to share recipes there. So I believe it was just yesterday I shared our spaghetti with lentils recipe, which is a house favorite. I've got 2 boys at home, and that's a house favorite for us. So I encourage people to continue to keep tabs on that Facebook group because we do continue to share recipes there as well.
Absolutely. And I'll take this moment just to let everyone know that the recipe that you saw today, as well as the Lifestyle Medicine website, should pop up in your comments section of whatever platform you're on if it hasn't already. So be sure and take note of that. Just have a couple of minutes left. Let's talk about children. They're really, really picky eaters. And I don't know who wants to field this one, but what are your tips for getting those picky eater little ones to eat healthier? Who wants to take that?
I'm happy to. I mean, we're all 3 of us here. We're moms. Debbie, maybe you are too.
4.
So I think, okay, all 4 of us. So I think we've all had our, challenges and opportunities with raising kids and trying to really encourage them to build a healthy body. And I think modeling that is really the best thing that we can do. So as we care for our own health, our children see that and they learn so much by seeing what we do. And then just kind of the nuts and bolts of, how do you get a meal on the table? I think giving children options. So one of our favorites is a super simple whole grain ramen bowl. So we'll just make the whole grain noodles. We'll have different toppings they can add in, like some bok choy or some carrots or celery, really ingredients that they can decide what do they want to put in their bowl. So I think kids always like to have ownership of what's on their plate. And then it gives them, a little more confidence to try something new in the future.
Yeah, that's really, really great advice. We've just got a few seconds left. Elizabeth, I'm going to circle back to you. Can you tell us just a little bit more about the plant-based challenge?
Yes, so it started out as a 30-day challenge in 2021, and it's really around encouraging people to incorporate more whole plant foods in their diet. It does not mean you have to eat exclusively that way. It really goes back to meeting people where they are and helping them incorporate different things into their diet. So for each week with the challenge, we've sent out an email around kind of 2 key things to focus on that week. Again, it goes back to like, don't try to change everything all at once. So we encourage people, like in week 1, there were some things we wanted them to focus on around eating more fruits and adding more greens into their diet. This week, we're focusing on those plant-based proteins and whole grains. And then next week, I don't want to give it away. I want you guys all to sign up. There'll be 2 new challenges next week. And so we encourage people, we're leaving it open all the way through the end of the challenge, which is February 3rd, because we recognize that at any point in time when you engage, it shows that you're showing up and you are there ready to take care of your health, and we want to be there to support you. There's all sorts of great webinars we have planned. It's all free, so anybody can join. And through those webinars, you'll also get additional content from our various instructors from the lifestyle medicine team, our physicians, our dietitians, and health coaches. There's one this Friday around raising a plant-based family with our culinary medicine pediatrician, as well as one of our health coaches. So I would definitely sign up soon so that you can get that information and join this Friday, as well as the content to come. So thank you.
All right, that sounds good. And I love the overarching message from all of you, and that is take those small, bite-sized steps to make changes for our lifestyle. So thank you so much, Elizabeth Suvedi. Thank you, Dr. Mauriello, as well as Dr. Arts. You gave great information. We really appreciate you and your time today. I want to remind the audience to be sure to save the date for the next episode of The Future Inspired by You. It is on February 11th. Go ahead and mark your calendar for that, where our lead infectious disease and immunology physicians will share important details about the COVID-19 vaccine and the science behind it. And that program will be called COVID-19 Vaccine Science Paving the Path to Hope. Doesn't that sound great? So we hope to see you then. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we bid you a great afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.